Steam links will be in the description for all of these 3 games in case any of them sound interesting to you. Isolation as a theme has been used in many different forms over time. Being crammed into small, tight corridors or areas, your only choice is to either move forward or just give up. Video games in particular excel at this, especially in how they affect the player's feeling. They are actively involved in creating a tense environment, and when the games get stressful and terrifying, you're supposed to feel that. Isolation can be a powerful element that adds depth to the storytelling and gameplay, and I find it's more effective when it's used in gaming compared to other kinds of media. In the Coffin of Andy and Leyley, you start out in your cramped, dirty apartment building. It looks like it was abandoned, just a shell of whatever population used to be there. The floors are dirty, all food that you can find has been picked clean. Even as you search for food, you find nothing but reminders of what this house used to be to you. In the almost random and unnerving layout with its jagged corners, inside of the apartment you find your parents' room, a reminder of what used to be. It's drab, and it's dirty, and it's messy. They're gone, and all you have left is yourself and your brother. The isolation of this game comes from a couple design choices that I find incredibly strong. Since every area in the building is separated in different sections, it makes the rooms themselves feel tighter, disconnected from your escape route in case something shows up. Most areas tend to be cramped with no sort of background, just a black void surrounding these rooms. Once you see something like the balcony of the apartment, it feels so much more open. You can see the sky until you realize you still aren't free. You get to see the true scale of the building you're in, sure, but you're just as cramped as you are anywhere else. You can't escape this apartment, no matter how close you get to the edge. Alongside your adventure throughout this game is the only other main character with you, your brother. The relationship between your characters, Andrew and Ashley, is an incredibly toxic one. Andrew will actively insult and belittle you, while Ashley, the player character, will take pride in poking at Andrew's insecurities and personal issues, like his recent breakup. This is all the two of you have, and you can't stand it. There's not much more for me to say about Dark Souls that isn't already known. It's intense, it's incredibly unforgiving, but it also has some of the best visual design that I think I've ever seen in a game. This mix of intense gameplay and the dark environments leads the quieter moments, the moments where everyone on your path is slain, leads to this intense feeling of sorrow, of quiet. Walking through the lower Undead Burg is unnerving. An entire town lies in front of you, one that's abandoned and filled with nothing. Dark Souls' isolation comes from its loneliness rather than its stakes. You can defeat every enemy in an area, become a master of your weapon with refining and enchantments, and use up so many souls doing so, and you can even defeat every boss in the game. But following that, a silence. After the text fades, all you have left is yourself. Not that it's unsatisfying. Dark Souls can be incredibly difficult, and overcoming their challenges takes tons of precise timing and knowledge of the game's mechanics, but that silence at the end, it's unnerving. Another title that shows isolation better than most games is Metro, specifically 2033 in this case, although I would say the others, in particular Last Light, are just as effective in this. In Metro, you're playing as one man that lives in an entirely underground civilization, down in the metro tunnels of a post-apocalyptic Moscow after what is this game's World War III. You spend your time fighting for survival against horrifying mutants, trying to stave off radiation, and luckily, you spend a lot of time with companions. In the first game, multiple characters will help you out, directing your way or even coming along with you to further their own goals as well as yours. It's a camaraderie that brings an air of levity to an otherwise hostile environment. But those few moments where they're separated from you, usually not by your own will, are terrifying. The game, especially on the hardest difficulty like I played where there's no HUD, becomes that much more tense when you're low on ammo and don't have someone to help fight alongside you. The cramped tunnels of the metro suddenly feel like they're closing in on you. Your options become limited. God forbid you notice that you don't have any ammo left. Cramped environments, dark and brooding worlds, hostile enemies at any corner. They all show these different ways in games to create isolation and make it effective. Without these attributes, a large sense of the atmosphere is lost, so I'm grateful that games make it their intention to force you to feel lonely and isolated. It's such a powerful element in making games, it can turn something good into something much greater if it's used correctly.